Dearest love, he said, a young guy that if we had started life early could have been our child, and yet this small boy with a car that was probably worth my whole working life salary, and two guys following him as bodyguards or whatever they were, and he came directly to my wife and took her hand and kissed it and said some words that made me want to punch him. But I am a man with a lot of room to accommodate a lot, so I waited. My wife smiled confused as this guy asked for her number and told her she was as bright as sunshine. I trust my wife, and so my whole focus was on this guy and how he could, without shame, be flirting with my wife. I talked and made light of the happening that day. Talked about how my wife was going to be a sugar mommy. Even when he sent her a text message that evening and added to it 1,000 cedis saying it is for her for brightening his day, we still thought it a shocking but funny matter. My wife entertained his calls, for she said it was funny and she just wanted to see how far this guy could take it. I also foolishly would sometimes sit with her as she talks with this guy. About a month later, and she went out with this guy. It was nothing, just an afternoon lunch. She came and told me about it, and the money she received again, and she just used it to buy flower pots and decorations, saying easy money is meant for accessories. Just 3 months later, and soon my wife does not come home as she used to. There are many more staff meetings that eat into the night. She became more irritated when I asked about what was happening. I was now not privy to the conversations and happenings between her and the guy again, and any attempt to ask about him brought anger. By the 7th month, my wife told me she had gotten a transfer out of the town. I asked how come, but it was not for discussion. She moved out, and I went with her to her new place, but I could not leave my job. 2 months after this, and our relationship was very strained. I took a surprise visit to her because I had not seen her for weeks. At the front of the house was one very good-looking car. My heart skipped beats, but that was not as bad as hearing her tell me it was over when she came to the door. She left me for the small boy we laughed about, the one we all thought was a joke, the one we all said was some spoiled and evil brat who did not know where he was treading. My wife of 12 years left me and our 2 children for this small boy just because we saw fire but played with it, thinking it was nothing but a game. Sin is not something you play with. The devil is not one to trade with. If you seek alone, you do not go to a demon, for they are in to steal, kill, and destroy, and they would not relent until they win their crown. Be sober and alert. Your enemy, the devil, like a roaring lion, is on the prowl looking for someone to devour. Resist him, strong in your faith, because you know that your brothers and sisters throughout the world are enduring the same kinds of suffering. And after you have suffered for a little while, the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 to 10. Stay blessed, trust and obey, for there is no other way. Okay.